Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 14th of March. Weather Department in southern India sounds alert after depression in Arabian Sea. UN must analyze legal aspect of China-Pakistan economic corridor project, says Baloch activist. And Bidya Devi Bhandari takes oath as Nepal President for second term. And now for all the details. The Weather Department has sounded an alert in southern Indian provinces of Tamil Nadu and Kerala as a depression in the Arabian Sea for last 2 days has deepened further. Weather officials on Wednesday warned fishermen not to venture into sea as heavy rainfall and thundershower are expected in the next 48 hours.
Three months after Cyclone Oki ravaged southern India, the government has now sounded an alert as a depression in the Arabian Sea for last 2 days deepened further on Tuesday. Heavy rain and thundershower are expected over parts of southern provinces of Tamil Nadu and Kerala in the next 48 hours. The Weather Department has warned fishermen not to venture into the sea for next 2 days. Officials said on Wednesday heavy rains will be accompanied by winds with speeds of 25 to 40 miles per hour in the region.
Strong winds of the order of 40 km to 50 km, gusting to 60 km per hour is expected to occur during next 24 hours. So fishermen is advised not to venture into the sea or the Comorin area and Maldives Sea region during next 24 hours, that is 14 to 15. And they are advised not to venture into the seas of South Kerala as well as the Lakshadweep area on 14 and 15.
The depression comes months after Cyclone Oki hit many parts of southern India, claiming several lives and leaving many missing. Hundreds, including many fishermen, went missing in the wild seas, prompting authorities to launch frenetic search operations.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan Muslim League-Nawaz or PMLN on Tuesday elected Punjab Chief Minister Shehbaz Sharif as the party's permanent president. Shehbaz, who had been serving as the interim president, was elected unopposed during the party's Central General Council meeting. On February 27, the PMLN's Central Working Committee had elected Shehbaz as the interim president after he was nominated by his brother Nawaz Sharif. The committee had also elected Nawaz Sharif as lifetime Quaid or leader of the party. The decision came after the Supreme Court last month ordered that Nawaz Sharif be removed as the head of PMLN 6 months after the court disqualified him as the country's leader over unreported income. Moving on, Baloch political activist Munir Mengal on Tuesday urged the United Nations to analyze the legal aspect of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC project in Balochistan. While speaking at a side event during the ongoing UN session in Geneva, Mengal termed CPEC as illegal and against the will of Baloch people.
Pakistan and China have no legal rights to carry out any economic activity in Balochistan, Baloch political activist Munir Mengal said during the 37th session of UN Human Rights Council in Geneva on Tuesday. Speaking after a side event at the United Nations, Mengal said Baloch people have never recognized Pakistan as their country and have always maintained their land was occupied by force.
A country has occupied a land by force, then what sort of rights that state has to make such sort of mega projects on that land? So these are the legal implications on the CPEC. So this is what this body, particularly the UN, has to see it. Different bodies of the UN must analyze the legal aspects of the CPEC, that what laws, international laws, the Pakistani government is violating.
The multi-billion-dollar CPEC project passes through Balochistan, which the indigenous Baloch call as illegal and an attempt to exploit their natural resources. Activists have long alleged that China and Pakistan are aiming to change the demography of the region and have been committing atrocities against the innocent Baloch people.
The power wars in Pakistan-administered Kashmir are threatening the very existence of people in the illegally occupied region. In an age of supercomputers and smartphones, people in this part of the world are living in the shadow of immense power cuts, which can stretch from several hours to around a week at a time.
Power cuts for days and weeks together have triggered anguish among people from all walks of life in the illegally occupied region of Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Power cuts for around 14 to 18 hours in urban areas and no electricity in remote areas has left the lives of the locals in shambles. Locals allege that the Pakistani establishment is illuminating Islamabad while siphoning off all the electricity generated through the giant dams in the region.
मुकम्मल तौर पर 14 से 18 घंटे बिजली की बंदिश की वजह से लोगों की ज़िंदगी जीर्ण हो चुकी है और सूरत हाल ये है कि इस वक्त जो मरीज़ अस्पतालों या घरों में उनको और मर्ज़ लाक हो चुका है। इसी तरह जो तालीमी इदारों में पढ़ने वाले बच्चे हैं उनके लिए भी दोहरी मुश्किलात मुसल्लत कर दी गई है।
Locals allege it is part of Islamabad's agenda to keep the region underdeveloped. Pakistan-administered Kashmir was illegally occupied by Pakistan more than 6 decades ago. However, the Pakistani establishment has failed to develop the infrastructure of the region, leaving the people high and dry.
In news from Afghanistan, U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis held discussions with Afghan President Ashraf Ghani during his unannounced trip to Kabul on Tuesday. During their meeting, the leaders discussed the peace offer that has been made to the militant group Taliban and the offer of comprehensive talks to Pakistan.
U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis on Tuesday held discussions with Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani during his trip to Afghan capital Kabul. Ghani during the meeting discussed the peace offer that has been made to the militant group Taliban and the offer of comprehensive talks to Pakistan. He said offers had been made possible because of the efforts of U.S. President Donald Trump's administration.
Game-changing nature of the strategy.
بدلیل تغییر ماهیت بازی ما حکومت وحدت ملی پیشنهاد صلح با طالبان و گفتگوهای جامع با پاکستان کردیم. این دو گام تنها در چارچوب رابطه جنوب آسیا برداشته شده می.
The U.S. Defense Secretary's visit to Kabul comes 2 weeks after the Kabul Process Conference in which the Afghan government announced a peace offer to the Taliban. Taliban has so far refused to accept direct talks with the government in Afghanistan, but Mattis said the U.S. is now picking up signs of interest from Taliban elements in exploring the possibility of talks to end the more than 16-year-old war in Afghanistan.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Nepal's first woman president, Bidya Devi Bhandari, on Wednesday took the oath of office after she was re-elected for a second term with an overwhelming majority on Tuesday. Left Alliance's presidential candidate Bhandari was elected with more than a two-third majority as she defeated her rival Kumari Lakshmi Rai from the Nepali Congress Party in the presidential elections. Bhandari won over the presidential polls since her nomination was backed by the ruling left alliance of the CPN-UML and CPN-Maoist Centre, the Sanghya Samajwati Forum Nepal and other fringe parties. President Bhandari garnered over 74% of the votes to be re-elected, while her rival Rai hardly drew 25% of the votes. Bhandari became Nepal's first woman president in 2015 and was elected twice in parliamentary elections in 1994 and 1999. More on news from Nepal. The Indian mission in Nepal has been selecting meritorious Nepali students every year since 2002 to grant them scholarships to foster their educational careers. So far, more than 2,100 Nepali students have benefited from the scholarship scheme, which marks the strong Indo-Nepal relations.
The Indian government started a Golden Jubilee Scholarship Scheme for meritorious Nepalese students to mark the completion of 50 years of Indo-Nepal economic cooperation in 2002. During its infantry period, around 50 students were awarded the scholarships in various sectors, and now the number has reached to 200 every year. The Indian mission in Nepal recently awarded 200 selected meritorious applicants out of thousands to grant up scholarships to foster their educational career. The scholarships will help the students study in educational institutions in Nepal and India.
Each of you has an important role to play in not just bettering relations between India and Nepal, we are very grateful to you for your words on that, bettering the situation in your own country, but also contributing to human good.
Being myself born in middle-class family, the economic background and financial status is definitely weak, and as we all know, the fees, medical tuition fees of MBBS is much more high, and it's not accessible for every family living in Nepal, and this scholarship has provided us encouragement and motivation to pursue our career in medical field.
Under the scholarship scheme, medical and engineering students receive $38 per month for 5 years and 4 years respectively. Undergraduate students in various other courses receive $28 per month as assistance for 3 years.
Students in India's western Surat city laughed their hearts out on Tuesday at a laughter yoga therapy session. The event was organized to commemorate the establishment of the world's first laughter club in western Mumbai city.
Students in India's western Surat city laughed their hearts out on Tuesday at a laughter yoga therapy session. The event was organized to commemorate the establishment of the world's first laughter club in western Mumbai city. A large number of students who turned up for the session were seen enjoying every moment of the therapy as they giggled, chuckled and hooted with laughter.
Laughter is the best medicine. तो हम यही मेडिसिन दुनिया को दे रहे हैं कि भाई अगर आप इसको यूज़ करते हो दिन में 10 से 12 मिनट तो एवरेज आप 94% बीमारी से बच सकते हो. और हमारे शरीर को सबसे ज़्यादा चाहिए ऑक्सीजन, तो ऑक्सीजन लेने के लिए कुदरत ने मनुष्य मात्र को ये अद्भुत गिफ्ट दी है.
इतना मज़ा आया. फर्स्ट टाइम ये योगा सेशन स्टार्ट किया था. बहुत अच्छा था. पहले पता नहीं था कि इतना अच्छा होने वाला है. हम लोग ने तो सोचा था कि हम छोड़ के भाग जाएंगे, हमें नहीं आना था. बट यहाँ पे आने के बाद पता चला कि कितना अच्छा था और कितना यूज़फुल है हमारे लाइफ के लिए.
Laughter yoga is a form of yoga involving prolonged voluntary laughter. Although not scientifically proven, it is said a good hearty laugh can bring about health benefits including improved blood circulation, lowering stress, relieving pain and strengthening body's immune system, which can help fight off diseases.
A 113-year-old heritage steam engine, the only existing narrow-gauge engine in India's northern Shimla city, is drawing tourists from across the globe. The engine ferries around 30 tourists on more than a 10-mile-long journey, giving passengers a view of the Himalayan city's scenic valleys.
A 113-year-old heritage steam engine, the only existing narrow-coach engine in India's northern Shimla city, is drawing tourists from across the globe. Now the engine ferries 30 tourists in 3 train coaches, giving passengers a view of the Himalayan city's scenic valleys.
इस सीजन में तो चला 4-5 बार चल चुका है ये, और इसका जो कोला मार के इसमें स्टीम बनाया जाता है. स्टीम से जो है फिर बैलर में पानी भरा जाता है, तो उसी के स्टीम खोल के जो बनता है उसी से ये चलता है लोगों हमारा.
A tourist shared her experience of coming up in the mountains.
This has been one of the most marvellous experiences in my life. I wouldn't have missed it in the world. The steam engine has just enhanced the experience of coming up into the mountains, and just to see the scenery is superb. It's been wonderful.
The engine KC520 dates back to 1903 and runs on the Kalka-Shimla line. It was awarded World Heritage status by UNESCO in 2008. The engine was used to ferry coaches till the 1970s and is now one of the biggest tourist attractions of Shimla. Steam locomotives, which ferried Europeans to and fro in Shimla, the elsewhere summer capital of British India, were phased out in 1970 after the launch of diesel engine.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on southasianewsline.com. You can also visit us on facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.